Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing The Golden Bachelor. And guys, again, when they showed us a scene with his wife, of course I cried again. I just have to say my first thoughts of this episode. I love him so much. I really do. And we must just cherish him. Also kind of shocked by something as well that didn't happen. But we'll get to it. It's not going to be a very long episode. Again, these are just hour episodes. So let's jump into it. So, The Golden Bachelor, Season 1, Episode 1. These don't really have titles, so... but let's go. So, we see our favorite guy, Gerry, putting on his tux, and we also see that he puts on a hearing aid. So the only reason I actually mention this is because this kind of comes back a little later. When he says, today, this is the first day of the rest of his life. So we see a picture of his wife, Tony, there. In the corner there. So, obviously she's with him on this journey, and he says, no one will replace her. And 100%, no one will ever replace that. I can't imagine if I had to ever, knock on wood, be in a position like this. I don't even know how you bounce back. Anyone who's able to bounce back after something where you've had a marriage for so long, and he's been married for so long, I can't imagine. So we then see, kind of interviews that he's attended, different people he's talked to along the way. And he says, he is the first bachelor who's on Social Security. Oh, such a sweet man. So we're at the mansion, and of course, here's Jesse waiting for him. Now I know I skipped the parts with finding out what happened with his wife. We've seen this before. And I just don't want to cry again. So we've seen it before. We saw that at that beginning clip of the show at the Men Tell All charity season. So I don't want to rehash it, but if you want to hear all of that, I would go back to that episode of the Men Tell All charity season, and somewhere in there you'll get somewhere in the middle is everything. Anyway, so he tells Jesse he feels anxious and nervous, and but here are the women, and let the journey begin, Jesse says. So I am going to go again through who comes when they come, but I did kind of introduce all of these women already. Prior to this, I can't remember which episode that was, but on the socials are the pictures of everybody, again. So if you didn't watch the episode, you want to see who everybody is, they're there. All 22 women are there, but yeah, ages and all of that are there as well. I'm not going to go through their ages again, but so first we meet Ida, and she's wearing a beautiful gold dress. So I took note of that, and she's beautiful, I wrote down. And they both launched some confetti into the air. Now, we meet Ellen. And we talk about her friend Roberta, who has cancer. They have been friends for 60 years. So, they've been in each other's lives for a very, very long time. And she kind of, when she gets there, just kind of like, Roberta, I made it. And, kind of, she's was alive at the time of the filming. And she was kind of doing all of this in the hope of, she's going to watch this and she's going to see this. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead here. Sorry. I'm going to break it down a little bit. Unfortunately, Roberta doesn't make it. She doesn't survive cancer. Cancer is fuck cancer. And, she unfortunately passed, I guess sometime earlier this year. I'm not exactly sure when this year, but there was a thing at the end saying, that she passed, unfortunately. But she is still watching. She is still watching from somewhere, I'm sure. But I thought that was so sad. But anyway, so then we meet Sandra. I noticed in the beginning, very soft-spoken. Very soft-spoken. And she says that she is nervous about everything. She says, you know what, I want to do a Zen practice. Do you mind if I do a Zen practice? I'm going to breathe in. She's going to do like a mantra. So, for those who don't really know, mantra is usually when you breathe and you say a word that, helps you release any energies, make you feel better, whatever that word. It could be peace or love. Instead, Sandra picked shit or fuck. I'm not sure which one she picked, but maybe both. I don't know. And every time she breathed out shit or fuck. Yeah. I was like, oh, so what about soft spoken? Damn. So she says that she is outspoken. You don't say. And tries hard to filter herself, but apparently it doesn't work. Then we meet Leslie. And she came out in this like old lady getup and a walker. And then she rips all that off. She says, "Does it look like I need help?" Y'all, she dated Prince. Yeah, she dated Prince. I don't know. Okay, wait. Let me rephrase. I don't know if she dated Prince or she fucked Prince, but she Prince. When doves cry, purple rain. Prince. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. Tell me more. I love Prince. Tell me more. I want more. But she did say that he wrote Sexy Dancer about her. And he tells it to that song. Yeah. There's times of Prince I kind of skipped over. And that would be the symbol Prince. I'm like, I'm good. I like, Prince and the Revolution, yeah, hence the songs I picked. But I'm like, whoa, what? I hope she's not lying. Don't lie about Prince. Leave Prince alone. If you're lying about Prince, I'm gonna have a problem. Anyway, let's continue off Prince. So then they dance together. So then we kind of get like a montage of some of the women that we're not gonna focus on too much. So we meet, I think it's Maria. I can't read my handwriting. I think it's Maria. And then Christina, Joan, Natasha, Peggy, Pamela, Kathy, Nancy, who is also wearing a hearing aid like he does. But then we meet Teresa, and it's Teresa's birthday today. And she says, I came in my birthday suit, and then all we see is her her dress, which I thought was a dress, but now I think it's a robe. And she opens it up, and before the commercial, you're just like, oh my God, did she just flash him? We come back, and, we find out that no, she didn't flash him. She is just wearing like a skin colored like bodysuit of some sort. And yeah. We find out that her husband passed away 9 years ago. So they're kind of in the same boat here. They have similar experiences. But yeah. So then we meet April, and she came with her fresh eggs. She's a chicken farmer, I think, but she came with her fresh eggs, and she says aging sucks. And she says she had 3 men that she really like, who that really loved her. So I'm wondering, did you love them, or is this all about them loving you? Anyway, then we come back to her, and she is like, clucking or whatever, and then she turns around and slaps her ass. This is why she wasn't picked at the end. Spoiler alert. Oh, no, actually she was. She shouldn't have been. Anyway. Then, Renee. We see her next, and she shows up doing a cheer. Cheer is fine. It's great. And then Maria is also dancing. So I think the other one might have been Marcia. I don't know. Whatever. We might have her on Maria. Who knows? Now we meet Anna, and she says, let's get the hell out of here. Okay? You're adventurous. I'm adventurous. Let's get out of here. Then we meet Susan. And guys, if you didn't see the post, but you're just now seeing Susan is our Kris Jenner. That is the woman I said who is our Kris Jenner. And she likes Kris Jenner. So clearly she likes Kris Jenner. So that's how we'll refer to her. But before she walks away from him, she says, you see these heels? I am very comfortable with 6 inches. Oh, that's it? That's all you're comfortable with? Sorry. Maybe we're gonna move on. We're comfortable with, actually 6 isn't even average anymore. But anyway, let's move on. Then we meet Patty, who is Matt James's mom. So this is kind of the only time we see her. Spoiler alert. But we'll get there. I'm not going to go too far ahead. But yeah, so we see her, and she does talk about the fact that I know that this can work. My son was the Bachelor, and he found love. Don't ask me how. I don't even don't get me started. And so yeah, she's coming here, and she wants to try it. And I have nothing against his mom. I just hate her son. And I don't know why I have such a visceral hate towards him, but I just thought that, again, I think I've talked about this before. I thought he did such a horrible job as a Bachelor. I know both me and Ava kind of just hoped that Tyler would have just done it. I know he didn't want to, but I kind of hoped he just would, because picking his friend instead, who I thought just did a horrible job. I mean, we've had a lot worse. I know this, but I think I expected so much from him. And then that's what happened. You end up with a person who is, let's face it, racially insensitive. I don't care. I really don't. I don't know. You can change from that. I just think like once that's ingrained in you, it's ingrained in you to be insensitive about other races. And now here you are dating a biracial man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I think that's part of the problem. And there was other issues I had with him that I'm not going to address here. Me and Ava talked about it at length when the show was on. But I'm not going to talk about it here. But I just, I don't bring back Clayton. I'd rather him. And that's saying something because I hate him too. Let's move on. um, so then we meet Sylvia, and then we meet Jeannie, who I believe she's the one who, I think that's later actually. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I don't want to make sure I missed that, but I think that's later. So then we meet another woman come in to us, and her name is Concetta, I think is how you say it. We'll call her Sissy. And she is 84 years old. So you're thinking, okay, ma'am, are you lost? But she said she really wanted to meet Gerry. And she says, my nephew, talking about her nephew, trying to get her there or whatever. I'm encouraging her to be there. And I think she was talking to Gerry. And he's like, oh, who's your nephew? Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy. Somehow, some way, Mr. Kimmel has to make an appearance. This time through his aunt. She's lovely. She fell asleep. We'll see later, but she was never there for seriously. Anyway. Yeah. Well, and I said, I wrote down, all right, well, that was short lived because she's just here for the night. She's not here for a long time. She's here for a good time. That's it. So she says, I don't belong here. When she walks in and she sees all the women, she's like, I don't belong here. Anyway, so then we see someone pulling up on a motorcycle, and that is Faith. And that's it. Basically, that's our women. That's everybody. We're done. Meeting all the women. So Gerry says there are a couple of women that have caught his eye. And he goes into the house, and he gives a speech, as they always do. And he says that, I'm kind of nervous about this, and, I don't know really what to say, but he does eventually just say, let's just toast to all of you, to this journey, and let it begin. Let's do this. So, April pulls him away first as our chicken lady. And honestly, because I was still trying to get know everybody's names and stuff, because this is the first night. I didn't have the women in front of me to know who's who and whatever. But I'm gonna try my best to catch their names. There might be times where I miss it. So anyway. So yes, April pulls him aside first. And she has a calendar that's only the month of April. There's no other month in the calendar. It's just April. Okay. So then he speaks with Ellen, and Ellen is the one whose friend Roberta. And Ellen, they just kind of talk about just things. Nothing really to hold on and capture, but I will say that they had a great conversation, especially because he says, this caught his attention after. This has left an impression on him. She has. So, and he tells her that. So, yeah. Then, he's with Natasha, and they do this weird, laughing thing, where she's like, if I tell you to laugh, we laugh, and then they laugh. It's weird, but okay. Then Sandra, who's our mantra lady, he does admit the Wandra threw him off a little bit, because, I mean, damn, will throw anybody off. Then there was a bug, and it was a big bug, and they killed it. Yeah. And then we are talking with another woman whose name I didn't catch. But they talk about, like, what song would they pick that they can listen to and love to listen to. And she says, At Last by Etta James. And he says, oh my God, me too. Like, I love that song. So they've connected on the love of that song. And then he's speaking to a motorcycle girl who I believe what's her name? I can't remember her name. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I am still trying to get used to everybody, so I don't know everybody's name. I gotta hold on to things that you do, and then I remember. So she, sings, and she plays the guitar for him, and I actually said, yeah, she sounds pretty good. She doesn't sound too bad, and yeah, I liked it. And then he's with Leslie, and they're dancing, and then I don't know what the heck they were dancing to, but it definitely, the song that they were playing was a knockoff of, oh, it got the best of my love. Okay, so I'm like, I was dancing too. So I don't know if that was the song that they were playing, but that was the song that they played for us. And I'm like, okay, all right. And they're dancing, getting down, and he's getting down. He says he's not a good dancer, but he's has fun when he does it. Clearly, he's having fun. And then all the women just come into the room and start dancing. It was such a sweet moment. Oh, I love that show so much. Like, you need to have some wholesome before you go into Bachelor in Paradise. But anyway, which I haven't really watched to take notes yet, but I have started watching it, and to say, I actually dislike Aaron a little more, because stop putting so much focus on fucking Brandon. But that's for a different show. Let's continue. So these women I found were just really complimenting each other. And it's funny, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a lot of drama and, like, this season on kind of thing. I didn't see a lot of drama amongst the women, which, if that actually does happen, what a breath of fresh air. Because again, I I want to see the drama in, like, Bachelor in Paradise. I want to see that. But with these shows, like, I really don't want to see that, because this is not that show. The show is supposed to be about finding love and, all of that. But we always have a Braden who's placed in the show, and they're here to bring drama. But I don't find that with these women. I don't see anyone, even Kris Jenner, who is here to create drama. They're just here to find love with this man, and I hope it stays that way. I love him and I love them. This is fantastic. So, anyway. And then in comes Jesse with the first impression rose. One woman has never seen the show before and doesn't understand the premise of the first impression rose, so it has to be explained to her. Okay, so anyway, of course, some of the women, as we know, haven't had time with him, but I do feel like eventually everyone does have time with him, which is unheard of. I don't know of anyone who was able to have time with him prior to the first impression rose, prior to even getting into the rose ceremony. So I feel like he did eventually see everybody, which is like, again, fantastic. Oh my God. Okay. So, um, Janie gives him a genie lamp. Okay. So then, Teresa sits down with him and she reads him a letter that her daughter wrote. And he really does relate with this because kind of the quirkiness of the letter from her daughter. He's like, it's how my kids are. And yeah, but then he says, I got something for you. I'll be right back. I think, oh my God, is he giving her the first impression rose? No, he came back with a cupcake for her birthday. Because again, this is the one who has the birthday day during this. So he comes back with the cupcake and he, has the first bite of the cupcake. He could. And then they kiss. Oh my God. When When I think it was him who leaned in for the kiss. When he did, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. Hey, hi. There's always somebody. But what I loved, because I always have such a visceral reaction when I see people kissing people that they don't know for the first time, um, on the first night. It always gives me this, I don't like it. For me, that's a me thing. But I always just like, you don't hold on, at least be past the first day, let everyone be on the whole level playing field here. But again, I love Gerry, so he do whatever he wants. And what I loved is that, spoiler alert, again, he's only kisses two people. So I'm just like, okay, I can live with that. Because when you have other people who are kissing like literally every man they end up giving a rose to, or every woman they end up giving a rose to, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. So I'm good with the two. I'm good with the two. So yeah, so that happened. But she was definitely the first one to get a kiss of the night of the season. But yeah. So he comes back and he says, to the women, this is the latest that I have been up. And the women agree and say, yeah, same with us. These people went into the next morning. Y'all, these people are 60 on into their 70s. They need to sleep. They need to sleep. Oh, man. Anyway. But then he picks up the rose and he walks out. So none of the women in there is getting the first impression rose. And then he finds Faith and he gives her the first impression rose. And Faith, that's the one, our motorcycle girl. And he tells her, I'm not giving you this because you rode in on a motorcycle. And I'm not even giving this to you because you have a beautiful voice. I'm giving this to you because you made me feel special. It's so, it's so sweet. But yes. And that is also his second kiss because after giving her the rose, they kiss and they're outside. And there's other women outside as well. Not right near them, but near them enough to see that he is kissing her. And I'm sure there was some jealousy there, but they still seem to handle the jealousy well. Thank God we don't see that. We never see that. But, yeah. So then we see that Jimmy's aunt has fallen asleep. She is asleep. But now we're heading into the rose ceremony. So For this, and I think I did this the same way with charity season, I'm going to say who has received the rose. I'm not going to say who hasn't received the rose, except for one person, I will say, because, well, I know vaguely enough. I know enough. I know more of who she is. So I will mention one person who doesn't get a rose. And obviously, if you watch the episode, you probably know who I'm talking about. So at the end of this too, we have 16 women. So let's get into it. So, and this is in order. So he gives it to Ellen, Teresa. Teresa was our birthday girl. Joan, Natasha, our laughing weird date thing. Leslie, Christina, Edith, Edith is the one who has the friend, Roberta, Nancy, April, so the calendar worked, I guess, Sandra, Jeannie, Kathy, um, oh, Marina, that's who it was, sorry, it wasn't Maria, Marina, so Marina, Peggy, and Susan, y'all, our Kris Jenner made the cut. So she's a beautiful woman, but it just throws me off that she looks like Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner's also a beautiful woman. It just throws me off that she chose to look like Kris Jenner. Why you choose to look like anybody but yourself? Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, the only person that I'm going to point out did not get picked is Matt's mom. Did not get picked. Matt James's mom. She wasn't picked, and I feel bad for her. I know I had no issues with his mom. His mom seemed absolutely lovely. And I think she deserves the fine love. We know that she didn't have a great relationship with his dad. His dad was absent. He himself didn't have a relationship with his dad. And I think she deserved a chance at love. But I'm also happy because then that means I don't have to see him. Thank you. Thank you very much. And prior to him starting the rose ceremony, he said like this was going to be the hardest part for him, the part he was dreading. He didn't want to do this. He didn't want to do the rose ceremonies. And he's crying. He's crying because he's hurt women here, and he didn't want to do that, and he's crying. And I'm like, don't cry. It's fine. But I love him. So anyway, then we hear Don't Stop Believing by Journey, my favorite song. It's everybody's basic. It's fine. But I love the song so much. But yeah, they started playing that, so cool. There's not a whole lot to really like pinpoint and talk about here for what's coming up on. But of course there is gonna be some drama. And it seems to be really putting a toll on him. So I wrote, this man is starting to be happy, so I'm making him sad. So, like, I think at one point he says, like, it doesn't feel worth it. And I said, no. But I don't know what the drama is, but, anyway, I also wrote in caps, hug him. So I am pinpointing the blooper because we need to find out what happened with Jimmy's aunt. So we see Jessie going up and waking her up. And she's like, did I get a rose? He says, no, you slept through the rose ceremony. And she's like, can I get a rose? Can I get a petal? He says, no. All the roses and the petals are gone. And she says, oh, okay, well, and she leaves. And then we, like I said, saw the rest in peace to Roberta. I think that's Edith again, right? Edith's friend. she passed away. As I mentioned on the top of the episode, I kind of wanted to get that out of the way because I felt horrible. You were kind of hoping that she would at least, be here to watch the show, but, anyway, that is it. That is it for our first episode of Golden Bachelor. I love it so much. I love it so much. So yeah. So Bachelor in Paradise will be following shortly after. With that said, probably means B90 is gonna be a little late. That's Resort will be a little late, but not to worry. We have our Canadian Thanksgiving coming up on Monday, and I decided to take time off from my day job, which means that I will be able to really focus for the next soon to be 5 days at the end of the week to really focus on the podcast. So, but yeah, that's it. That is the end of Golden Bachelor. So if you like what you heard, please share Reality Tea ×2 with everyone in your life. That's going to help with our growth. And we really want to grow this podcast. Another way you can grow it is by also rating and reviewing us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The links to those podcasts, links to the Spotify and Apple Podcasts, will be in the show notes. You can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps, but if there is an app that you don't see us on, that you want to see us on, please let me know and I can get that up on that podcast app. If you are an avid YouTube user, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube by going to Reality Tea ×2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by connecting with us on either Facebook at Reality Tea ×2 or Instagram and Threads at Reality Tea ×2 podcast. You can also email us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you want to guest on the podcast at some point, whether we talk about your favorite show or just get to know each other, you can email us at realitytea ×2@hotmail.com and you can make that request and we can talk and we can figure that out. So you can email us at that email. We have a new website where you can get links to everything. You can get links to our Facebook page, Instagram page, Threads, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything your heart's desire, as well as we do now have a Discord. So you can follow us and talk to us on the Discord app. You can get all of that information at the website, and the website is www.solo.to/reality ×2. I also have a new podcast with my friend Mikkel called Next Take Podcast, and you can either listen to us at YouTube at the link that's going to be in the show notes. I believe that is Next Take Podcast. And you can also go to our website. There you can have all the links to all of our social medias, email, everything. Our episodes as well will be at the website, which is www.solo.to/next take podcast. All of the information, everything that I have just said will be in our show notes. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.